Welcome, folks. It's great to have you here today. Let's jump into a full technical analysis on a very popular stock. And the stock I want to talk about today is Meta. Full disclosure, I own Meta. I bought it, it pulled back, it's recovering, and I see increasing prices in the near future. The Feds are cutting the interest rates next month. Actually, this month, it's December 1st. Time passes by so fast, doesn't it? And they're injecting liquidity with QT ending. So there's a lot of good positive catalysts behind Meta increasing. But just in case you want to buy at a lower price, let's take a look at some price targets that you can buy cheaper at to be safer, and some price targets that I expect Meta to increase towards. Let's jump in right now. Here's a clean chart of Meta. We're looking at the daily. Now, before we do anything, it's so important to look at the overall market trend. That's the first thing I generally do because when the whole market is up, it pulls up every individual stock generally. A rising tide floats all boats, and a sinking tide lowers all the boats. All right, so right now, let's take a look at the broader markets. There's generally the S&P 500, there's NASDAQ, there's the Dow. Meta, if we click on Meta ticker symbol, we can see it's part of NASDAQ. So we'll take a look at NASDAQ. I pulled up a new chart for NASDAQ. Taking a look at NASDAQ, you can see that I had drawn a trend line here. I've been watching NASDAQ to see whether the market has reversed its downtrend, and we know it's a downtrend. Let me size that up. You can take a look at it better. Whenever you have a high, low, lower, low, we have a downtrend. This is a technical downtrend, and the market's been going down for about 9%, not quite a full correction at 10%. And we can see for the past 5 trading days, it's been going back up. Now, the key thing to note is we are not yet in a confirmed uptrend yet. It hasn't reversed from a downtrend to an uptrend. How do we know it's reversed? Simple. The price is above, it broke through that confirmed downtrend, and to reverse it back into an uptrend, the price generally comes back down and it tests that downtrend as support. And if it bounces off it and goes back up, now we have a confirmed uptrend. So we can draw an uptrend line. And the uptrend generally acts as support. So we would have a high, a higher high, a low, and higher low. So that would be an uptrend. So we're not quite there yet. The reason why I bring this up is because generally we want that confirmation, which means when the broader market, NASDAQ in this case, comes back down, that should pull Meta down from the current price of 650, and that should give you an entry point if you want to buy Meta, a great stock, and ride it up. And going back to Meta, here's a clean chart. There's a handful of tools that I had spoken about in my previous videos. Number 1, local supports. Number 2, gaps. Number 3, trend lines. And number 4, moving averages. So I'm going to add those one by one on this chart, starting with, let's do trend lines first. So we have high, high. So we have high, lower, high, lower, high. We can draw descending trend line just like this. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you put it there because we want to see the complete picture. Local supports. What are some local supports? Well, we have dots we can connect here. It came down here, came down here. Support, support, came down here, support. We can draw a horizontal line right there. There are other local supports and resistance, but for now, let's look at gaps. And there is an obvious gap here where we have this huge pocket of air. We had price that started here, and the next day it dropped all the way down there. This is a gap down, which means we can draw a horizontal line and this will act as resistance because the price dropped down, and generally price likes to deal with unfinished business by closing this gap. So the price here, if it closes a gap, it'll come back up and test that resistance line. And there is one more gap below that I want to draw. You can see that there was a gap at about 550 right here. And so the price jumped the next morning from 550 up to about 573. I will mark that with a green line. Again, price is above. If it comes back down to close out this unfinished business, then this will act as support. The price is sitting at 650. We have a gap below and a gap above. When the overall market NASDAQ was coming down last week, it looked like this gap would be filled before this gap. But now that the market sentiment has changed and everyone is jumping back into the markets with the impending rate cuts and the QT ending, it looks like we have a nice catalyst for this unfinished business to be dealt with first. So it looks like we'll have price moving back upwards. Local support, gaps, trend lines, and now we can add our moving averages. To save you time, I've added 5 moving averages. We have 5, 13, 20, 50, and 200. And let's take a look. Our price is at 650. You can see that we have the 50 and 200 right there. It sits above. Whenever you have moving averages above your current price, that acts as resistance. And the 5, 13, 20 is below, right? We have the green, the yellow, and the orange. If we expand that, get a closer look, these are acting all as bottom resistance because it's below the price. Now we have the price sitting between the short-term moving averages and the long-term moving averages, which sits above. If we can break through the long-term moving average above, then this can act as support, and this will be another notch up for it to pass these local resistance and then fill this gap. And hopefully the price can break through this trend line, which is also an overhead resistance, retest it as support, and reverse the trend back upwards. If you're holding the stock at 650, some possible price targets would be 670, 702, and closing the gap at 742. And the very last tool that I'll add on top of the 4 that we just drew on the chart is the Fibonacci retracement, my favorite. We take it from the swing low and put up to the swing high right there. And what we want to do is line up all these different tools. The more we stack, the more we line them up, it gives us a higher level of confidence, right? The odds that we are correct in these price targets increases. And you can see this beautifully with the 50 to 200 and the 0.382 lining up right there. And you can see that the price came down a little past the 0.618, and now we're sitting at the 0.5. The Fibonacci retracement gives us pullback levels. So we started here and it's pulled all the way back down to 0.618. Remember, I told you with the general market, I'm waiting for a retest of the trend line as confirmation for the trend reversal. So if we get the pullback, then I can expect that Meta's going to come down a bit and maybe a possible lower buy price target. Instead of 647, we can wait for 638 or even the simple 5 EMA at about 630. Anywhere between 638 and 630 would be possible good entry prices to buy at safer levels. You don't have to overpay at 650. As long as NASDAQ, the bigger market, is going up, then we can expect prices to increase. However, if the market is falling back down, then we can expect deeper pullbacks down to fill this gap. And that's it. That's all it takes to do a simple, quick analysis to find safer buy levels and also take profit levels just by applying a few tools on a chart and lining them up and getting that extra vote of confidence when you stack and when you see them fit together like puzzle pieces. If you found this helpful, please be sure to subscribe, and I can't wait to see you in upcoming videos.